Hey everyone, this is Erik. Another day of recovery, one day at a time. I'm going to share a personal story. This just happened just an hour ago. I was at the post office doing a delivery that had to do with a drug test. We'll just call it that. And the drug company did not give me the proper packaging that said human specimen that allows me to mail it, evidently. And I like this post office because this post office is fast, efficient, and friendly. They really are. And I go out of my normal town to go to them because they are that. This took about a half an hour process to do. There was no proper labeling. They were as polite can be, but had to read through all the literature to see what in their screens, how to mail this. And I said, well, I could go print a label. I just tell me what label. And no, they worked and worked and worked and worked. Gave me a special box. Then I filled out the stuff on the box and we got it settled. And I was more patient than normal. Well, what was there to be patient about this? Yeah, thank you for your patience. The way I see it is that they were helping me out because I didn't have the proper labeling. And that was, I guess, the responsibility of the drug test. This was a drug test you purchase through the store. So, what could be done? And I was calm and I had to go in and out of line and go run and do this and that. But they didn't make me go home. And even then, if they did, I don't know, I was in a state of patience. Um, and I've not always been that way. Patience means to suffer long. Those into the Bible, it says love is patient. It also says love suffereth long. The word patient also relates to being a patient. I have a friend, dear friend, who's recovering, hopefully from a surgery, a procedure. To be a patient means to surrender. So you're surrendering to the doctor and the nurse and the people that are there to help you. So to be patient in traffic means to surrender to the process. So being patient in our own recovery means to keep on doing what we need to do and then be patient and wait. And so as I was walking out, I had this strange thought because they kept thanking me for my patience. I thanked them for their patience with me. I mean, they got 3 different people involved to try to figure out how to create a label that said human specimen. And it's like they didn't have to do that. By the way, they seem to be very patient. Now, I think sometimes it's our thoughts. If I had thoughts that said, well, that drug company that made the test, why can't they do better labels? I can't wait to talk to them. Or if I were thinking thoughts that said, well, this is a post office, I can't be the first person in the world that came to them with this kind of malady, especially if it's being sold at the local drugstore. But thankfully, I wasn't thinking anything. I was kind of in a state of whatever's going to be, is whatever it's going to be. Um, but I realized maybe, and I've had a glimpse of this thought a few days ago, maybe whoever is the most patient wins. Life is not a game, but if it were a game, maybe the most patient win. And it's like so upside down compared to how we think in this life. Maybe the people who are the most afflicted win in the next life. Maybe the people who are the most merciful win. Like I had a glimpse of a thought, and I think this comes if you're praying throughout the day and morning and night asking God for direction. I had this thought, maybe the whole goal in life, but this sounds weird, is to forgive the most people you can forgive. Like, that's why those people are there. That's why you've been mistreated. Maybe that's why it is what it is. I mean, it's a totally different way to think. Like, really. So I've been shooing away people that are actually going to help me by wanting them to change to make me happy. And it's like, no, no, no. Forgive them. That's actually how you win this game. The person with the most forgiveness, the most patience, the most kindness, the most gentleness, the most self-control, most love win in the end. I thought, wow, 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 wow. Thank you, God. I mean, was that just like is something. I mean, it makes more sense to this crazy life to think like that. It makes a lot more sense versus assuming everybody's good, no one's going to harm anybody, and then being really bent out of shape when we all harm each other. Yeah. Now, I'm not anywhere near anything towards this path. But what's interesting is at least now it's a path that I'm willing to take, and I think it's going to be a good path. It's going to be much more exciting to live this way. To assume that the people in my life that may even be enemies or rubbing me the wrong way, and I have to understand that just because I may be harmed, hurt, feel sad feelings, just genuine sad feelings about maybe mistreated or whatever, that's okay. If I add to my suffering with high expectations, that's a different thing. But I think none of us want to feel bad. But if we can feel bad and endure it, if we know it has a greater good, and that's what would be exciting to me. So the family that feels like they made the most mistakes and has most addictions, the most abuse, the most horrendous dysfunction, but in the end, they forgive each other, they're patient with each other, they show mercy to each other, they win in the end. And then I'm going to go into Christianity here for those that are interested. It's here for you if you want it. It makes sense why Christ went to the people who were the most broken. He said those are the people that need a physician. It makes sense why the Pharisees, the people that are most judgmental, not willing to look at themselves, showing the least mercy, aren't winning. It explains why Christ is on the cross and people are mocking him, mocking the creator of the universe and his forbearance and love and patience toward, we'll say, us. He's still loving and patient and forbearing, and he wins in the end. It explains why the addict who's taken 20 years to get sober or may never get sober, but the family who's patiently doing their part, which is often to get out of the way, to recover from codependency, to work on themselves. It explains the person who's going to get sober and they have to get rid of defects of character, of resentment and being harmed and holding on to those harms. That if they go, no, 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 these were opportunities for forgiveness. And the more you've forgiven, the more you'll win in the end. Yeah. There is a gentleman who struggled with lust. This is in the early Christianity. His name was Conan. And his job was to help baptize people, and people with baptism weren't wearing a lot of clothing back then. And he would struggle with lust. You can go look on this online. It's much more detailed than I'm going to get here for discretion. But he's really, really tempted, but this is his job. And he prays incessantly for this to be taken away from him. Incessantly, like, please, God, please take this away. Well, and I'm not trying to blow people's mind, but St. John the Baptist appears to him and in a vision and says, look, we can take this away. There's a way for this to be taken away. The guy says, please, yes, do it. So through prayers and some other things, it's taken away. St. John comes back and he looks kind of sad. And Conan says, well, why are you so sad? He says, "Do you realize there was a great crown for you, and you patiently enduring affliction with that, and you were enduring it, but because now it's taken away, that crown is kind of gone." The point of this story is that there is great value in the actual struggle, the affliction itself. You see, it's weird. I'm oriented, or maybe some of us are oriented to think that if we get rid of the struggle, make the struggle go away, oh, yay, I win. I want life to be easy and peaceful and serene. It can be peaceful and serene even in the midst of a struggle. But no, maybe the struggle is the point. And then it makes sense why some people have so many afflictions. They're like born with afflictions. You know, their poor baby died, or they're in a car accident, or I mean, it's just horrific stuff I hear. So, anyway, I'm kind of excited about this reorientation of the way to think, that maybe the one who has the most patient wins in the end.